Week 2 is in the books, and today we're going to give you 4 trade targets to go after in your redraft leagues to go and help you better your team for the future. Our first player is going to be Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson has not had the greatest start to the season. He's averaging like 11 points per game, but the targets are there. The target share is there. He is most certainly Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. And that means that the big spike weeks, they're coming. They haven't happened yet. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet, but I believe that in the coming weeks, Garrett Wilson will show why he was a first round pick, and he will prove that he has wide receiver 1 overall upside. So far, they've gone up against San Fran and Tennessee. Those are 2 probably top 10 defenses in the NFL, and it's Aaron Rodgers' first 2 games back in like 2 years. The progression is coming. They're going to start gelling, and it's you want to get in while you still can, and you can get in on Garrett Wilson, who's probably going to end this year as a top 12 wide receiver. And right now, you can probably get him at like a wide receiver 2 price. What we're looking to pay for Garrett Wilson, something like maybe some name value plus some early season hype. I'm thinking like Stephon Diggs plus Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams obviously has had some very good weeks. I don't really anticipate that sticking super well because I think Sam Laporta is going to become more involved. The Lions just want to run the rock a whole lot. They're not going to lose like they did last week every week. And then Stephon Diggs, someone who had 2 touchdowns in the first week, which is going to make his score look very nice, but he's probably the third option in offense realistically. That's what I'm looking to trade for Garrett Wilson. Dak, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I completely agree with Garrett Wilson. Just being a trade target right now, he's so talented, and him and Rodgers are going to get it figured out. Like you said, I think it's really good defenses in San Francisco and Tennessee. It's going to take a couple weeks, obviously, that we've seen to get this going, but he's so talented. Even with like quarterbacks, was like Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, he's still produced. You're not he's not producing like this with Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to figure it out
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, these were definitely 2 floor games, and they were still like 10, 12-point games. That's not the worst thing ever. And that's your floor. The ceiling is 20 plus points. So looking forward to it. Dak, who's your first player?
Yeah, my first player is going to be Tony Pollard, running back 12 on the year. And I think he's been a sneaky RB12 just because he's stuck in that Tennessee offense with Will Levis running the show. It's been a pretty big mess down there, but Pollard's quietly been producing. He's only scored 1 touchdown this year and still has 18 points and 15 points respectively in his 2 games. And a big reason for that is because of the targets he's getting out of the backfield. He's getting targeted like 5, 6 times a game, which running back position PPR is so huge. And I think this could be sustainable. Like I said, it's a really bad offense. And the fact that he's been producing that amount of points with not, just 1 touchdown, he's been keeping Tajay Spears off of the backfield. I think this is sustainable for Tony Pollard. You think back to 2 years ago before he broke his leg in Dallas, he was a very good running back. So I think there could be, 2023 he had a bad year because he's rehabbing from that leg, and now 24, he's kind of recapturing his old style. Some trades I'm looking to do with Tony Pollard, I'm looking maybe Najee plus something small, David Montgomery plus something small to get Tony Pollard, or Rashad White, and then maybe you get Tony Pollard plus just because of where Rashad White was drafted, as well as Derrick Henry. You do Derrick Henry for Tony Pollard plus, kind of capitalize on just some preconceived notions from pre-draft. We really like doing that. I think, like I said, this is going to be sustainable from Tony Pollard. He's borderline RB1, while Rashad White, I'm so out on him. He really hasn't had a good start to the year. Could be replaced by Bucky Irving or at least put into a committee. And Derrick Henry, that Baltimore offense has looked not great, and he's got absolutely no upside catching the ball. So getting Tony Pollard plus, I think, really helps you build depth and just build up your lineup. Just expect the bell cow approach in Tennessee to continue, as well as him getting work out of the backfield, catching passes. Definitely a trade target for me.
Yeah, I think a move where you're sending away a Derrick Henry or Rashad White and getting Pollard plus maybe a flexible wide receiver is a fantastic move to help build out depth, as long as getting the better running back in the trade, in our opinions, right? So that's a smack move. You can make that. My next player is going to be Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk has had a very rough start to the year. He obviously missed almost all of training camp due to his little contract dispute, which probably contributed to his slow start. The Niners in general have had a pretty slow start to the year. They just lost this last week. We don't really expect that to continue. The Niners are going to be a good team. And now that Debo's out for a couple weeks, McCaffrey's hurt, Ayuk's probably going to be the main guy, right? Ayuk's going to see probably 10 targets a game, and he's going to put up wide receiver 1 numbers if that is the case. He's a fantastic talent. but because he's had two very underwhelming weeks so far, you can probably get him for pretty cheap. The tier of wide receivers I'm looking to like trade away for him would be like maybe Drake London plus a bench running back such as Jerome Ford, someone who had a good week one that maybe you can still sell away. You can also maybe trade away someone like George Pickens, maybe Jalen Waddle. Now that Tua's hurt, like those players that have name value. Um, that someone might just, yeah, maybe someone just frustrated with Brandon Aiyuk. If I drafted Brandon Aiyuk, I'd be frustrated right now too. He's been terrible through 2 weeks. So go capitalize, go get Brandon Aiyuk before he explodes because he's going to be the only option in this offense for quite a few weeks.
Yeah, I think he definitely has to get into football shape, which we've seen the last couple of weeks. Shanahan just hasn't been scheming him up, getting him the football because, like you
Mm,
said, there's so many other weapons in that offense, but they are quickly dropping. No Debo for a few
mm-hmm,
weeks, no CMC for who knows how long. Even George
mm-hmm.
Kittle got banged up last game, so it's quickly becoming Brandon Ayuk and nothing else. So yeah, they're gonna have to rely on Brandon Ayuk, and he's so talented. I think he definitely smashes these upcoming weeks. He's just too talented in that offense. Yeah, definitely a trade target for people that are frustrated with him.
Yep.
So we've got one more trade target. We got DJ Moore, wide receiver 36 so far. He's had a really underwhelming start to the year. Caleb Williams, big expectations coming in as number one overall pick, and it just hasn't lived up to it so far for one reason or another. It's just been pretty ugly. But the one reason you can point to DJ Moore at least getting it turned around, 11 targets and 10 targets his first 2 games. He's the one in that offense above Keenan Allen, who's hurt, and Roma Dunze, who's a rookie. Like DJ Moore is the guy in that offense that they want to get the ball to. Just the amount of targets that he's getting and how talented he is, he's going to start putting up fantasy points eventually. Caleb Williams as a rookie, you don't just come into the league and start playing like a top 10 quarterback right away. That's not how it works for 99% of the quarterbacks. But I think Caleb will eventually get adjusted to the league. And once he gets adjusted, you're going to see with DJ Moore, the fantasy points are going to come. And he's a guy where offenses are able to scheme up touches for him just because he's so dynamic with the ball in his hand. He can get those yards after catch, everything like that. And you're going to see the talent flourish. He was a top 6 wide receiver last year with Justin Fields. Like you can't tell me that he can't do the same here with Caleb Williams. He's just too talented. So some guys I'm looking to trade for DJ Moore. Maybe Mike Evans. He's had a decent start to the year, better than DJ Moore. I think I would do that swap. A couple other guys I'm looking to trade for DJ Moore. Maybe Xavier Worthy, who had a really big week one. So I think people are still excited about him. Brian Thomas Jr., another exciting rookie. If you can cash in on DJ Moore, just hasn't had a great start for those rookies who have hype right now. I would do that right away because I'm telling you, it's going to turn around for DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to continue to be a bottom end wide receiver 3. He's way too talented.
Yeah, I think that's a common theme among all the wide receivers that we picked, that they're all almost borderline elite talents in Garrett Wilson, Aiyuk, and DJ Moore. They just haven't quite put it together yet. But like, I would be shocked if at least two of the three didn't put it together by the end of the season and turned it around completely. And those are players that can help you win your leagues if you're trading away bench pieces or flex pieces. So
Yeah,
go trade for those guys.
the
Oh, sorry.
targets are there for all of them. Like they've been
Yeah,
peppered with targets aside from Aiyuk, but Wilson and DJ Moore have been peppered with targets, and Brandon Aiyuk is going to be. So
they're coming for sure. We hope you enjoyed the video. Go trade for these guys. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.